There was a man named Arjun who, from the very first memories of his life, felt an invisible weight pressing on his chest. It was the weight of needing to be seen, needing to be praised, needing to be admired, not by his parents, not by teachers, not by strangers in the streets, but by the world itself. He spent his days constructing an image of himself that he believed would be acceptable, impressive, and worthy of respect. Every smile was calculated, every word carefully chosen, every action performed as though 1,000 eyes were watching. And in the city he lived in, perhaps they were. Arjun worked tirelessly, climbing ladders others had built, chasing recognition that shimmered just beyond his reach. He acquired wealth, status, and a reputation for being clever and capable. People nodded at him in admiration, and for a brief moment he felt a flicker of warmth in his chest. But the warmth never lasted. No matter how much he gained, there was always a hollow echo inside him that whispered, "Is this enough?" Every achievement felt temporary, every compliment fleeting, every moment of pride stolen away by a creeping dissatisfaction he could not name. The city around him was alive with motion, a constant hum of ambition and rivalry. People rushed to appointments, chased deals, and sought influence. The night brought little relief, for the thoughts that haunted Arjun were louder than the bustling streets. He could not escape himself. One evening, after a day heavier than most, he wandered aimlessly through a quiet park at the city's edge, seeking nothing more than a pause from the relentless chase. There, under the gentle glow of lanterns, he saw an old man sitting by a pond, tossing small pieces of bread into the water. Birds gathered around him, pigeons, sparrows, and even ducks waddling near his feet. Yet the man seemed utterly indifferent to them. His movements were calm, deliberate, patient, as though the world did not exist beyond his small task. Arjun felt a pull, a strange mixture of curiosity and unease. He approached slowly. "Why do you feed the birds?" he asked, his voice carrying more urgency than he expected. The old man looked up, his face lined with years, yet alive with a serene clarity. "Because they are hungry," he said simply. "They do not care who I am nor what I possess. They only need what I can give." Arjun laughed nervously, unsure why he felt both drawn and uncomfortable. That seems simple, but people care. They care about who you are, what you do, how you appear. The old man nodded slowly. And that is why so many suffer. They give their lives to being seen, admired, and approved by people who cannot love them as they are. Approval is a shadow that moves as you move, but it never stops chasing you. And when you finally think you have caught it, it disappears again. Arjun felt a shiver in his chest. Every forced smile he had worn, every act of flattery, every achievement he had displayed, it all seemed like chasing a shadow he would never catch. "Then what am I supposed to do?" he asked, his voice tight with anxiety. The old man reached into a small pouch beside him and withdrew a pebble, smooth and ordinary, placing it in Arjun's hand. "Hold this," he said. "Imagine this is all the approval you will ever receive. Every compliment, every nod of respect, every sign of recognition. This is it. Will it be enough to carry you through life?" Arjun turned the pebble over, noticing its weight. It was heavier than he expected, and suddenly the truth hit him. Approval had weight, but it was empty. It could not feed his hunger, it could not fill his emptiness, it could not quiet the voice that whispered every night that he was still lacking. "What should I do then?" Arjun asked, desperation creeping into his voice. "Give your life to something that cannot be stolen, cannot vanish, and cannot fade," the old man replied. "Serve, create, love, not to be seen, not to be praised, but because it is who you are. When you live this way, approval becomes irrelevant. You no longer chase it. It may come, it may not. But your soul is nourished.
Arjun sat in silence. He watched the birds feed. They did not worry about what others thought. They did not strive to be admired. They existed simply, yet fully. And in that simplicity, he glimpsed a freedom he had never known.
The old man smiled, noticing the change in him. Most men live their lives as prisoners of perception. They bend themselves to satisfy the eyes of others. They wear masks, perform endlessly. And when they finally remove the mask, they find no one has truly seen them. You have the choice to stop performing. Arjun left the park that night, but the old man's words lingered like fire. He began noticing his own habits, the way he smiled for applause, the way he spoke to impress, the way he measured every action by what others might think. For the first time, he saw the chains he had been carrying and wondered what it would mean to remove them. He started small. He gave anonymously to a neighbor in need without expecting gratitude. He wrote letters he would never send. He took walks in the park without trying to be noticed. At first, it felt strange, even uncomfortable. The world had conditioned him to seek acknowledgement, and yet gradually he discovered a quiet joy in acting without reward. Weeks passed. Arjun returned to the old man often, sitting in silence beside him, listening to the quiet life of the park. One day, the old man asked, "Do you understand now?" Arjun nodded slowly. "I think I do. Approval is fleeting, recognition is temporary, but what I choose to give, what I choose to create, and how I choose to love, it belongs to me, even if no one sees it." The old man chuckled softly. "Exactly. Once you learn to live like this, you will no longer be a slave to praise, you will be free." And so Arjun's life changed. He still worked, still dreamed, still faced trials. But he no longer sought applause or admiration. When he succeeded, he celebrated quietly. When he failed, he learned without despair. The emptiness that had haunted him for years began to fade. He had discovered a deeper approval, one that came not from others, but from acting in alignment with his own values and purpose. Listener, pause for a moment. How much of your life is spent chasing the applause of others? How often do you act not because it fulfills you, but because it might earn recognition? What would happen if you lived as if the world were blind to your efforts, yet you continued to serve, create, and love anyway? The freedom Arjun found belongs to anyone willing to step off the stage, put down the pebble of approval, and walk into life with courage and intention. The applause may never come, the praise may never arrive, but the satisfaction of living authentically, fully, and without fear, that is yours to claim.